The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.
Greetings and welcome back to the Personal Safety Show. This is Marcus Melnick, your host, and we are continuing the conversation with Tom Holland from Free State Firearms. His website is freestatefirearms.co, and we were just talking about he's aligned, or his company is aligned with the National Gun Safety Consortium Board, and I found that very interesting.
I actually looked them up, and I'm going to contact Frank Kaminsky, who was the chief of one of the agencies I worked at, but not at the time I was there, and we've corresponded over the years. I didn't know that existed before I met you, and then did some background research, so thank you for that. So the handgun is called the Sentry. There's a concealed carry version. I'm guessing it's kind of a commander size, and then there's a full-size 1911. It is blasphemous that you put a 9mm in a 1911. And I'm teasing you. I'm just giving you a hard time. That's all. It's supposed to be funny. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So who makes the firearm? Who's the make, or is it just a custom type gun that your company produces?
So what we're doing is our company is buying 1911 80% gun kits. There's a number of manufacturers out there that will provide you with 1911 parts, including frames and slides. What we have done is we look at our technology, and we do have, actually, we're awarded a patent on this USPTO, is basically the security mechanism, which is in the grips of the gun as well as on the bottom of the magazine. And so what we have done is basically we start our process. We get in the gun kits. We have to do some custom machine work on the frames themselves that helps adapt the grip security technology. And then we assemble the guns, test them, and they're ready to be shipped out.
Well, so it's a 9mm. What's the capacity?
This is a 9-round magazine.
Okay, and how many mags does the gun come with?
We give you one magazine. If you want to buy multiple magazines, that's great too. The magazines, other than being the power source for the weapon, has nothing to do with the security mechanism. You can have as many magazines as you want.
Okay, great. So outside dimensions, well, I guess you just answered my question. It's a 1911 kit, so I'm guessing holsters are not an issue.
Not at all. No,
Okay.
it's the regular, the home defense model. The Sentry is 4.25-inch barrel. The concealed carry is 3.5-inch. Otherwise, it's just a stainless steel 1911.
Okay. And how does it disassemble?
Just like any other 1911.
Okay, not like a bull barrel 1911 where you got to stick it's not really a paper clip, but you actually have a bushing and all that good stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a traditional 1911. Perfect. The website said it's ambidextrous, but I really didn't see any controls on the right side of the gun. So is it...
When we talk about ambidextrous, what we're saying is that basically the gun obviously works for both left and right-handed shooters. On the 1911, obviously, the thumb safety is obviously the left side of the gun.
Right.
Actually, for the rear. So we don't flip safeties or anything like that. So it's basically just set up with the thumb safety on the left side of the gun. But as I said, it's ambidextrous, of course, both left and right-handed shooters.
Okay. So obviously the advantages are then someone who shouldn't be shooting it can't shoot it because they don't have a ring on their finger, which is great. I mean, you've got a ton of marketing ideas. Put a ring on it. If you love your gun, put a ring on it. I don't know. That's like a Diamonds commercial or something, but you could certainly draw upon that. I'm being serious. If you want to use that, go ahead. It just popped in my head. One of the great advantages I see to this type of firearm is reholstering. If there's someone who wants to be uber careful, they can actually take the ring off, then reholster it, then they're not going to get a hole in their leg. Where are you manufacturing the firearms? Or I meant carving out the 80%ers and that type of thing.
We have a startup facility. We have vertical CNC mill. We have a laser etching machine. We're doing it all in Baldwin City, Kansas, Northeast Kansas.
Awesome. And it's same thing with the electronics. Are they purchased? Or are they manufactured?
Fine. We had to custom develop, obviously, electronic engineering firms, the tech behind the security. And so basically we have a supply chain that now manufactures those components, and then we bring them into our facility, and that's where it all comes together.
Okay. I see Hornady makes a gun safe that has an RFID technology as well. Could your ring be paired to a gun safe?
Don't know, have no idea about that.
There's an idea for R&D if you're interested. This is electronics. Obviously, it needs power. Where are the batteries housed?
So the battery is actually in the bottom of the magazine. We made when we started developing this firearm, just because we wanted to do something to demonstrate the technology. We didn't have a ton of money to go out and develop our own proprietary firearm like some of these other firms. Quite honestly, we didn't want to develop our own proprietary firearm just because I think with this type of tech, it just allows people to have more questions in their mind as far as questioning the product itself. And so, given the fact that, there's a limited amount of real estate on a 1911, when it comes to the surfaces, the security mechanism was basically put in the grips, and then the battery source was put in the bottom of the magazine.
Got it. So, does the ring need a battery?
It does not. No, it is totally passive.
And are the rings, do they come in different sizes, or is it a one size fits almost everyone?
Oh, no. They come in many different sizes. Get that per order. And as we basically set up our distribution network, one of our key business partners that we've identified is basically gun range owners. We're a big believer, Marcus, about people being properly trained on firearms. And we see gun ranges as by far our preferred way to get this to American consumers, so that the gun range owners can provide these, our customers with the tender loving care they need because of basic training. How do I load a magazine? How do I fire the gun? How should I properly store it? How do I take care of it? And also get them the repeated training they need on the range, really to be effective and not, quite honestly, be a danger to them and their family members.
So I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario. I'm a correctional officer, and there's a scuffle with prisoners. I lose my gun. It scatters across the floor. Can another correctional officer pick it up with their ring? Is it universal? That's my question. And use the firearm if they needed to?
Yes, we can program for the situation. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you say have a department and say and I want to be clear with your listeners, we are not marketing this as a duty weapon. We've never intended to market this as a duty weapon. We do believe, we have received affirmation from law enforcement, at least from certain ones, that for special uses, this is applicable. And so, for example, in the case of the prisoner transport situation, say you might have a department that buys maybe a half dozen of these guns, depending on how big they are. And what you can basically do is then have officers basically all wear rings that have, in essence, the same security code that unlocks all the guns. So it doesn't matter who's on shift or whose gun they've got, they all work.
Very good. So what happens if I'm in a scuffle and I lose the ring during a fight? That gun is not usable, is that correct?
That is correct.
And I also know that there is, I think it's on the back of one of the grips, there is a lighting system. Green means it's good, red means you can't fire it. Here's my question to you. How do you accommodate colorblind shooters like myself?
Well, what we have actually done, and this was kind of one of the cool things of our patent, I think we're actually one of the first firms to get a patent on something called a haptic feed device. We actually have a vibrating motor under the grip, the right grip. And even if you're a left-handed shooter, you can feel that vibrating motor even if it's in the right-hand grip. And what we will basically offer people right now, basically, you get everything lighting system with the vibrating motor.
Okay.
And at some point, I'm sure we'll have people that maybe they're think, maybe a light might give away their position or something. I'm sure at some point we'll offer the ability to basically toggle that between the two if our customers want that ability.
Awesome. That's terrific. I don't know that much about 1911 kits, so I'm going to ask a question that might sound dumb, but I'll be the dummy here. Can you order a kit with a rail?
Right now?
Yes.
No, we can because we're an 07 FFL Firearms manufacturer.
Okay, so
I do believe recent actions by the Biden administration, I'm not sure that the public can buy any more than 80% gun kit.
I was going with just the fact that would a rail be available to buyers of your product in the future?
With just the rail?
Right. I guess my question is, can you, not me as a citizen, but you as an FFL, order a kit that already has a rail built in so someone can put a light on the gun or laser or whatever?
I assume we could.
That was an easy answer. Marketing of firearms usually requires multiple levels. You have to market to the end user, the consumer, like our listeners. Then you have to market to the distributors and the dealers, etc. How does your distribution work? How do you market towards people?
Here's the approach that we're taking as a company. We have been approached by wholesale distributors who want to take our products and help us get it out there. They're excited. Where we are at, though, right now is we're really holding our additional marketing very close to the vest. And what I mean by that is that I'm really driving that marketing effort directly myself. I am going out and actually making calls to large gun ranges in major metropolitan areas and personally helping educate them about the product, learning about, working with them to develop basically, cross-promotional opportunities, affinity agreements, and initially we'll be working with the gun range owners directly to get this thing basically seeded initially into the public. Because once again, we feel that's the way we want to bring this to market is through the gun range owners. They understand the changing demographic, what they've seen over, say, the past 5 years. For example, you have many more women coming in. In fact, my understanding now is women are majority.
Right, 60%.
New gun buyers,
Yep.
Okay, in this country. We think by working with gun ranges, this is the way to a public that is curious about the technology. They're open to the technology. And once again, we're assuming the option, as we talk about markets, and quite honestly, it's not going to be for everybody. I mean, for example, talking about, my family having 4 children. Well, now our adult kids are out of the house. I have handguns in the home. They're not user authentication firearms. But then again, I don't have grandkids or little people really running around my house. And so my point is that we believe that the gun buying public, the ones that are going to be initially attracted to our products, are going to be ones that have kids in the home. Maybe they've got potentially people folks who are despondent. Maybe these folks are old themselves. They don't have their gun taken away and used against them.
Right.
And so we feel once again that through proper training, and quite honestly, we do see some custom training with our products, given the technology that it offers. We feel that's the best way to do it. So I'm personally working on some of those initial things up. Now, we do have a website, an e-commerce platform back end that we have had up for well over a year. But even with the e-commerce platform, it's our intention to, where possible, we want to basically, for those that buy it through our website, obviously we'll facilitate transfers preferably through gun range partners in our network. So once again, they get the training.
Very good. That you answered one of my future questions. But for now, so people that have to buy direct and then they do a transfer is what basically I hear you saying. What is the warranty on the firearm and the electronics?
Oh, the warranty.
Yes.
Right. So basically, it's just a general 1-year parts and warranty. 1 year warranty on the parts, I should say. Yeah, on the mechanism.
Okay. Is that for both electronics and the actual firearm?
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
Can you tell our listeners what your website is?
The website address is free. This is all one word. Free State Firearms. That's plural. .co, not .com, but .co. FreeStateFirearms.co.
And if say there's a dealer who's chomping at the bit listening to this and they want to get a hold of you, how could someone get a hold of you and make an inquiry?
So basically, they just got to the website. We've got basically a contact webpage. They can send me an email. We also got the phone number of our facility on there. Leave a message, and by golly, I'll give them a call back here.
That's terrific. What final thoughts can you share regarding Free State and the future of your company?
And Mark, it's probably not so much about our company, but I think we're at a point now where when you look at this technology, back to when Smith & Wesson was talking about getting an agreement with the government, they're going to introduce a quote-unquote a safety gun. There's been a whole lot of political hullabaloo about that, a whole lot of backlash. But I think we're at a point now, just politically knowledge of where we've reached this tipping point of where I believe you have more and more new gun consumers every year. They're buying a firearm. Number one reason is they want it for protection. They want it for safety. But with that, with those new consumers, and I'm not saying it wasn't with necessarily concerns for gun consumers in the past, say beyond 10 years ago or something. But I think there's more of a recognition among these new consumers that where maybe in the past they wouldn't have had the gun, they made the decision they need this. And so for particularly these folks, where in the past they may not have bought one because of, I just got kids at home, I can't do that. For whatever reason, they've decided now they need it. And so what you're getting is you're getting, I think, new considerations going into that purchasing decision, where I think that once again, for certain security situations, technology, user authentication firearm, UAF, is something that will be attractive to certain segments of the gun buying public. I think it will take off. Not necessarily from our own selfish perspective, but maybe just whoever brings this technology to market will radically eliminate unintended or unauthorized discharges. And at the end of the day, what that means is you're significantly reducing both non-fatal and fatal gunfire injuries. And it's a significant number. I mean, when you look at the statistics, we just look at for non-fatal gunfire injuries, roughly about 37% of those are totally unintentional discharges. And so what that really translates to, you've got probably 95 or so Americans every day non-fatally injured by unintended gunfire discharges. And so gun buyers, they're cognizant of those risks. And I do believe that this technology is something that can help address those concerns.
I'm the kind of guy that says what needs to be said and maybe not. I don't always play nice with my words, but I have a final question for you, and it's not going to be a popular question. The question is, have you considered reaching out to groups like Everytown, Brady, MDA to tell them about this product?
Have we considered it?
Yes.
Yes. Have we actually done it? No.
Okay.
And let me just kind of give some background on this. Early on, when we got into this, we were approached by certain journalists in the gun industry community who are very suspicious about what we're doing, and they saw what we were doing as you guys are going to you're going to run off, you're going to go band-aid this stuff. We've always told everybody, look, we are 2A proponents. This is tech being offered as a choice. The last thing we want to be perceived as is shoving this down somebody's throat. I'm a believer because I'm an entrepreneur. I run multiple small businesses. I believe that an unfettered marketplace where you have information that flows more free or quicker than it ever has in the past, if this is a product that makes sense, people are going to buy it, and the marketplace will drive it. So our thought has been is that we make the value propositions with the technology, and we make it clear to all parties involved. They're all important stakeholders. You have gun safety groups, you have gun manufacturers. They're all important stakeholders in this conversation. You have gun owners themselves. And so what we're trying to do is make the value proposition, and we told them basically the market's either exception or rejection of this. Only case prove our point. And so we don't want to be seen as charging off going in one direction or the other as far as trying to cast aspersions as far as our motive. At the end of the day, like our website says, we're in this to reduce gunfire injuries. And that's it.
Fantastic. Folks, I am here with Tom Holland from Free State Firearms. Their website is freestatefirearms.co, not .com, just .co. Tom, thank you very much for your time with me today, and I look forward to seeing more of you at upcoming shows.
Marcus, I very much appreciate the opportunity, and I'm sure you will.
Awesome. Thank you.
Normally, I stay away from politics as much as I possibly can, but this next segment, this next discussion point, actually has affected a lot of people in the United States, and that is the war in Israel. Hamas has attacked Israel. Israel has responded. And of course, some news media vilify Israel for defending itself. I do not. They have every right to defend themselves. And the reason why I bring this up in the show is because I have a friend who moved there a couple years ago, and I got a very disturbing email from him. Allow me to share the email. His name is David, and he used to own a business in Illinois, and he sold it and moved with his family to Israel. So his email has said to me, and I'm going to read it to everyone, I write to you as I am leaving my bomb shelter in Israel. I'm asking you for your help to contact your elected officials. That's us in the United States. One of the hostages that was abducted on October 7th by the terror organization Hamas was the son of someone I went to high school with. The family asked for help from their family and friends to contact government officials to try and bring their son home. I'm asking for your help in this effort. Here's a link to a form that will identify your elected officials, and that website is www.usa.gov/elected-officials. That's www.usa.gov/elected-officials. Then please use the template below to contact them. Now, I'm going to read you the template, but if you send me an email at marcus@firearmmentor.com, I'd be happy to send this to you so you don't have to try to jot it down while you're listening to the radio or while you're listening to the YouTube channel. So fire me off an email. Haha, that was not intended as to be funny, but it was a dad joke. So send me an email at marcus@firearmmentor.com. I'll give you all the verbiage if you would like to participate. I will be participating. So this is what the letter should say. Dear Senator, Congressman, Congresswoman, Governor, etc., I'm reaching out to ask that you use the full powers of your office to insist on the release of the 230 hostages held in captivity by Hamas in Gaza. These hostages include innocent babies, children, women, and elderly civilians, as well as young men who are critically wounded. Specifically, Hirsch Goldberg Poland is a 23-year-old who loves people, music, and the outdoors, whose left arm was blown off prior to being kidnapped. He is just one example of a hostage in need of immediate medical attention who must be released now. This is not a matter of strategic policy or politics in the Middle East. This is only about returning captives to their families. It is time for all those with a sense of basic human decency to stand up and be heard. Thank you for your support.
So that's the letter that you, if you wanted to, or you can tweak it, send it in to your elected officials. So this does relate to firearms in that it used to be very difficult for Israelis to obtain a firearm. Not so anymore. So earlier in October, nearly 8,000 Israelis requested firearm licenses. That is a lot. The National Security Ministry of Israel has purchased 4,000 handguns for emergency response units throughout Israel. New requests to carry arms since the fighting with Hamas. Over 545 permits for personal handguns have been processed, 970 to be issued overall, and the ministry is allocating an extra 60 additional staff to help issue these permits. Now, I wish Illinois would do that. Notably, more than 27,000 permits have been granted from the start of this year. Every city resident will be able to get an armament license, National Security Itamar Ben-Gvir said at one of the police stations. We'll be facing Operation Guardian of the Walls, too, so we're ensuring that we are prepared with guns on every street corner. So, Israeli gun permits have been issued in numbers that they have never been issued before. And there are reports from various kibbutzes, which is a farm, that they have repelled Hamas attackers, Hamas terrorists, with the firearms that they had on hand. Don't forget, almost all of the Israeli populace has served in the military. That's part of what they have to do. As citizens, they get out of high school and they have to serve in the military. We've got tons of new episodes coming up. We're going to be talking about dogs and politicians. Sometimes they go together, sometimes they don't, as well as other manufacturers and news in the firearms industry. Thank you very much for listening.
We have monthly concealed carry license CCL classes in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Dates can be seen at firearmmentor.com/classes. If you have a question, we can be reached at www.firearmmentorcard.com. That is our electronic business card, has all of our contact information and links in it. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you at the shooting range. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor signing off. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.